Oh, it's really an honor for me to be here today. I was just talking to Mike Barber, and he asked me, how long is your presentation? I said, about 2 hours. Where are you, Mike? Anyway, it's really an honor for me to be here today, ladies and gentlemen, to share or welcome everybody in the 2023 State of the City address here in the city of Oxnard. I want to thank Donna and Nancy of the West Ventura County Business Alliance for the opportunity to make this presentation, and of course, to thank all the sponsors for your support of this presentation. What I'd like to do at this time is recognize our city council, my colleagues in the city council, and most likely they're up there in the slide presentation. We have Mayor Pro Tem, District 4, Councilmember Bray McDonald, District 1, Bert Perello, who's over here in this corner, District 2, Councilmember Gabe Turan, Councilmember Oscar Madrigal, and District 5, Gabby Basua, and District 6, Councilmember Arthur Valenzuela. Council members, thank you for all the work you do for the city of Oxnard. So today I'm going to really share a lot of positive things that would not be possible without the policymakers and the support of our city council. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to share with you that I believe this is the best city council that I've ever worked with. They're really great. I've worked with a lot of councils and a lot of boards, so I believe this is one of the best that I've worked with. So as a result of what I'm sharing today and in the future, this reflects the leadership of the city council and our staff in the city of Oxnard. I want to thank Mr. Alex Noon, our city manager, who's sitting back here. And our assistant city manager, Ashley Golden, here someplace. And our deputy city manager, Cherie Klima. She's here too. I'd also like to thank our department heads that are here, to our directors and our staff, of whom they are going to share some information with me today, and probably going to be available for some question and answers after my presentation. Because believe it or not, I don't know everything, but they do. They're here today. So our directors, please stand, and take a bow. Back here. Alex, put him in the corner. How come they're in the corner, Alex? They should be out here with us. So I'm excited, really, ladies and gentlemen, to be back to present information to the community. The city of Oxnard is doing an excellent job, despite our global impacts and supply chain disruptions, inflation, labor shortages, and I'm pleased to announce that we're making steady progress throughout our city. So today I actually cover 5 topics. Number 1, stability of the organization. 2, economic and social impacts of our local government. A brief update on the city priorities. 4, highlights of the citywide restoration, and also economic development. Let me start off with stability. I'm pleased to report, ladies and gentlemen, that Oxnard is stable. We are proud to announce we have the 3rd positive budget in a row. The 3rd positive budget in a row. Thank you so much. And with that, of course, a balanced budget, right? So it is important because just 4 years ago, the city of Oxnard was facing a $9.2 million structural deficit. And of course, we're also struck by the pandemic. So this is really going in the right direction. So Oxnard is stable is because I mentioned we have a great city council. We have a strong management team. And we have budget stability because our voters approved Measure E, which really helped us tremendously. With the support of the city council, my city colleagues, we're incrementally building upon the progress they achieve. So I have some highlights I'd like to share with you today. From Standard & Poor's, our credit ratings. Last year, Oxnard received 5 S&P credit ratings. As you can see on the slide, each one of the items in bold highlights the credit rating improvements for our city. And also, we're progressing and hopefully towards a AA rating, which is really fantastic. This is going to provide the city a better opportunities for funding our future reinvestment in the city council's priorities, and we continue in our progress. Let me talk about economic and social impacts. Let's talk about how the economy and other factors are impacting our businesses. But before I continue my presentation, let me share some personal information. As you may know, I was a former city council member, a county supervisor, and now mayor of the city of Oxnard But for many, many years, I also had a small business here in Oxnard, John Zaragoza Tax Service, and also Home Center Real Estate. I prepared numerous income taxes, hundreds of income taxes, and also helped the community with buying their homes and listing their homes. So again, I'd like to share with you that those challenges of running a business are really important to me because I know how it is to pay taxes, payroll taxes, disability insurance, leasing property, leasing equipment. Those equipments are related to expenses of business. So I have that experience about running a small business here in the city of Oxnard. However, I'd like to acknowledge that when I had my business, my personal opinion, there was a different economic climate at the time. However, running a business has the same foundation regardless of where economics are. So my experience in my personal business as a public and private individual has really helped me as a mayor of the city of Oxnard. Let me continue by sharing some of the economic states of the city. And I have some questions right here, so the people here today. In fact, I have 3 questions. How many of you small business people have had any experience in receiving your supplies? Raise your hand if you had. Well, I can see a couple of people raising their hands. How many people were impacted by the inflation? I see quite a few people in the businesses. And raise your hands if you had a hard time hiring qualified employees. Or the whole room, my goodness. At City Hall, we are struggling with the same things that are economic and social impacts that of running an operation. Our job is to provide services and programs for the Oxnard community, and we're facing the same economic and business challenges as our business community. However, unlike our business community, we had to deal with lawsuits. A resident that actually challenged a lawsuit against the city this year is going to give us some really, really hard times for our next fiscal budget. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But let me talk about supplies. In normal times, it would take our police department, I know we have our chief here, about 8 months or so to get a vehicle. In fact, last year, the Ford company ended up canceling all their fire and police vehicles due to the supply chain issues. Our police department went and placed an order with Dodge for patrols, and that took another 6 months. So at the end, our police department won't receive our new vehicles for another 18 months because of the supply chains, which is really horrible. Our fire department experienced delays. It normally takes about 18 months to receive a new fire engine. Now it's going to take 3 years. Imagine, 3 years. But let me share with you, our fire trucks are still good, but we need to replace them. 3 years. Other supply chain issues. A delay in parts for water storage wells. Other vendors stated that parts won't be available to 2027, 4 years from now. That is really, really horrible. Of course, we still have good water anyway, so we're not worried about that. On traffic signals, those are extremely important. But even the traffic sign signals are taking 6 to 8 weeks. And that's really, really important. We want to make sure that our lights are done and correct. Because if you put stop signs in the mediums, people get in trouble, in the intersections. So remember, every delay creates a ripple effect on the whole organization and slows things down. So let me talk about hiring people, as I mentioned before. As I mentioned, the city of Oxnard, our job is to provide services, and people help us provide that service. Like many of you, we're struggling to get qualified people. And we're not alone on that. In fact, there's a snapshot that I'd like to share with you and with our neighboring jurisdictions. The county of Ventura has a 15% vacancy rate. The city of Simi Valley and Ventura have a 9% vacancy rate. Oxnard, we're experiencing a 13% vacancy rate. As you can see, this is not just an Oxnard problem of hiring qualified people. So we have so many vacancies that the progress is slowed down, but we're not stopping. It's just definitely slowing down our progress. Let me switch over to our city priorities. I'm going to continue with our city priorities. We have 25 important items in these priorities, I'm going to talk about number one, infrastructure and natural resources. Number two, the quality of life in the city of Oxnard. Economic development. Four, public safety and organizational effectiveness. But today I'm just mainly going to focus on economic development. But let me talk about some maps. The city council priorities have a roadmap, like all of us, with our budget. Each year, the council passes the annual budget, which is our plan to achieve those priorities. But let me talk about a detour. How many people remember all the rain we had in January? Lots of rain, the storms and rain. Remember they closed the Freeway 5 to Sacramento and San Francisco? What happened? Every car and vehicles would switch over to the 101. And that took several hours now to get from Sacramento and San Francisco. We in Oxnard are experiencing the same detour at City Hall. Our council priorities in the city are our roadmap. And as you can see, probably up in the slide, the quickest route to progress was delayed because of supply chain disruptions and because of inflation, because of labor shortages, and a new bonding lawsuit, which I'm going to talk about later. So we have to make the detour. So the city council now is extending our timelines from 2025 to 2027 to accomplish those priorities that I'm talking about. We still have to follow the roadmap, but it's simply going to take more time to get there. So let me talk about the city restoration. Let me talk about our streets. Thanks to the voters of Oxnard who approved Measure E, we're making significant investment towards our streets and our alleys. As you can see on the slide, before Measure E, we adopted a budget of $14.7 million. With Measure E in fiscal year 21-22, we adopted a $30 million for our streets. Our streets are very important, a very important asset to the city. And prior to Measure E, we simply lacked the resources to take care of our street and alley maintenance. Now with Measure E, we're responding quicker to potholes, and more importantly, we're investing in the infrastructure of many, many streets and alleys. Our most cities normally pay cash for things like public safety, landscaping, and maintenance. We pay cash for those items, and then bond for the multi-generational projects, such as street reconstruction, as I mentioned. However, Oxnard now is going to pay cash for our streets. You believe paying cash for our streets instead of issuing bonds? That's a $20.8 million cash we're going to be spending towards the street this coming year. This is because of the bond lawsuit that I mentioned earlier. Mr. Aaron Starr, I'm not sure how many people know Aaron Starr, an Oxnard resident, has filed another lawsuit against Oxnard over the authority of issuing municipal bonds. Other cities like Ventura, Camarillo, Simi Valley, Thousand Oaks, they continue to issue bonds for major projects. Oxnard has to pay cash for those projects. This is really foolish, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely foolish. That's negatively going to impact more than 200,000 residents here in Oxnard and the local businesses that are here today. Mr. Starr continues to use lawsuits to determine governmental spending and priorities based on his political beliefs. Consequently, this is more the taxpayer money has to be spent on issues such as lawsuits. This is really not fair to all of us. So our staff rather remain focusing on repairing our streets, restoring our services, and identify the priorities that Oxnard residents want. As a business community, as taxpayers like all of us, we need to be aware of the impacts of Mr. Starr, the lawsuits. Really, really unfortunate. But enough on Mr. Starr. Let me continue on economic development. Let's talk about our building permit and our community development team. They're very, very busy, and I'd like to thank them for the work that they're doing. Last year, we saw an increase of 4,000 business inspections, a total of 29,000 inspections, with 99% being provided the next day, helping out the next day. Now, post-pandemic, we're also seeing more people come to our service center. Last year, our service center served 10,000 customers in person, and an increase of 4,000 from the prior year. However, we know they still have a lot of work to do. And it's going to be slow, like I mentioned. but a commitment to you, to the business community, that we are going to try better to continue doing that. The City Council recently approved funding for consultants to help reduce the backlog of permits. They're making significant progress, and we have cut the backlog by 65% just recently, which I think is really important. However, we know we just started, and we're committed, again, as I mentioned, to improve the system. So let me talk about some great economic news. We're excited to see the development at Sakioka Business, the business park. More than 2.8 million square feet of land have been developed. That includes the building of the one-to-one logistics center area, which includes building totaling 750,000 square feet, the opening of the Arctic cold storage, and of course, Amazon, which continues to be a great revenue generator and employer for the city of Oxnard. We're really excited to see these new business opportunities and job and infrastructure investments, such as the new roads landscaping that continue on the Sakioka property. Now let me talk about downtown Oxnard. We're excited to see the continued progress in downtown Oxnard. In 2022, construction began in the Central Terrace at 6th Street and Mita Street, and the Navigation Center project on 2nd and B Street in downtown, totaling 143 plus units, and also with another 110 beds, that shelter that's going to be provided. To date, 251 additional residential units with more than 5,000 square feet of new commercial space are currently planned for tech processing. In April, the City Council reaffirmed the commitment to the Downtown Vision Plan in the 2019 Downtown Code. This supports the mixed use of housing, storefronts that's going to complement Plaza Park in downtown Oxnard. The goal, ladies and gentlemen, is to provide an urban community that's going to allow people to live, work, and play in downtown Oxnard. Another aspect of our economic development includes the strengthening of our ties with Oxnard College. We have some people from Oxnard College. I saw the president of Oxnard College here. This relationship between the college, the city, and local businesses is the key to Oxnard's future. Here's the state of the education level in our community. We have about 160,000 residents ages 25 or older that only have a high school diploma or some college. This is out of a population of over 200,000 people. Our businesses, as well as city, need qualified trained employees. But the data shows that most working adults in our city are lacking the training needed to help us to work with you and many of us. So we're working with the college, with the chamber, with local businesses to address this issue. And we have some of the results we're working on. We have a program called the Employee Pipeline. We're also working with UCLA currently, conducting a study, the University of UCLA, to find out how we can work on those barriers to gain quality, well-paid employments in our employees in our community. And now we need to fight. We really need to fight for more funding for Oxnard College, to establish more formal relationships and more with our local businesses to tackle this issue of education. Together, we can deliver the skills and training needed to have our residents become great employees for our businesses. But let me shift gears now. You have noticed that here we are really in this amazing venue. This place is so beautiful. They really did a tremendous redesign. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the hotel and all the employees that are here today. So as I mentioned, I really would like to highlight the renovation and rebranding campaign that Zucari Dunes Mandalay Beach has done here in Oxnard. The hotel has been featured in many news outlets, including Travel and Leisure and Forbes magazine. This is a great tourism industry here in Oxnard. And finally, I'd like to recognize the great work of our partners, Visit Oxnard, our marketing and tourism agency. Visit Oxnard has done a really good job. Talk about an amazing media coverage of our city. These are just a few highlights that you see that have featured Oxnard last year. And we're really excited to see so many great stories about the city and the fun things that happen here in our city. Ladies and gentlemen, Oxnard is known for its weather. It's festivals, right? Our festivals, we have the Salsa Festival, the Multicultural Festival, the Tamale Festival, and just a couple of weeks ago, we had the Insect Festival. You believe? Who came to the insect? Quite a few people. And boy, those insect tacos are delicious. And of course, tacos. Tacos are really important. Speaking of tacos, let me share. We have a nice video that we'd like to share at this time. It's a 3-minute video that's going to share some information about tacos. And also this video, by the way, has been shown in Cinemark here at the collection and throughout Southern California. So let's go ahead and start that video.
Yup, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. Well, it all started when I was jonesing for some tacos, so I slid through the drive-thru and rolled over to my girl Natasha's house. I was like, yo, I got the good stuff. And she was like, nuh-uh, fool, I ain't eating that. I want some legit tacos. Let me take you to a little place called Oxnard. So we hit the road for Oxnard, but as Natasha likes to call it, Toxnard, because they have so many freaking tacos. First stop was Tacos La Bonita, where we asked some local car club guys what to order. Natasha was like, hey man, I'm trying to get my buddy here the good stuff. And he was like, oh, I got you, get the Vampiro tacos. So I was like, vampire tacos? Oh, let's go! I was feeling the local love and our buddy had a bunch of friends, so we got like a lot of tacos. We devoured them all with our new friends, and I was like, dang, these are insane! Natasha was like, yo, car club dudes, aren't these tacos so freaking good? We then went to House of Tacos, where I heard about the infamous Birria Machete. The woman at the counter was like, these tacos are based off Danny Trejo's character in Machete. And Natasha was like, oh my God, I love Danny Trejo. So I was like, you wanna have a sweet sword fight? Natasha was like, I'm down. So we had a battle royale and I was feeling like $1,000,000. So I jumped on a unicorn while eating a taco. The mayor came through and was like, hey, nice taco shirt. I got attacked by a giant evil hot dog. Boxer Steven Schreff came to my rescue and fed me a taco. And then Danny Trejo himself even showed up and was like, hey, I'm Danny Trejo.
Wait. Cut. This literally never happened. Let's rewind. What actually happened is you were like, let's get some of that green drink and hit the beach. So we hit up Juarez Tacos for the green drink, drooled over the mini trompo, quesadilla, molitas, and then grabbed some quesadillas for the beach. Wanna know how good they were? Melty, cheesy, flavorful, mouth-watering. Nothing has ever looked so good. But then you were like, except on me. Meaty, sizzling, dripping, sensations, the real deal, baby. Then I asked you, you full? You were like, never. We kept eating our way around the Oxnard Taco Trail until we were pretty much taco wasted. We checked into so many spots on the Taco Trail mobile pass that we got these totally neato shirts. You were pretty stoked. We topped it off by pulling into our hotel at Zachari Dunes on Manhattan Beach, where we grabbed some margs, and you couldn't take your eye off that little baddie at the bar. She joined us for a drink by the fire. We cheers on an absolutely epic day. And you said, ready to do it all over again?
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that. Let's give a round of applause to Visit Oxnard for doing a great job on this video. And we do have Brittany, we have Visit Oxnard. Visit Oxnard, stand up for what they did a really, really good job. Thank you. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, even though we had a great meal today, it's never too late to go for tacos. Follow the taco trail. Thank you. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you for, allowing me to share a couple of updates today. It's really, really very, very general information I gave you. Some of those issues that I shared with you is probably a 2-hour presentation. But we've accomplished a lot here in the city of Oxnard in the last year. and more is being done, and we're going to do a good job for the city of Oxnard.